Okay, so in this video, we're talking about the rating system of the platform that Avec Audio has put in place. So upon upload, every time you upload a track, it will populate up to this screen with all the information that's available with your track. On upload, what you'll see right here by the title is a pending sign. And that pending sign basically means that your track is up live, ready to go. However, it is not in the search system. So one of the things that we have to do as the admin or the music curator of the platform is we have to go in and make for sure that the music is legal music and no copyrights have been infringed upon. So we take that very seriously. So that's one of the things that we take a look at before we approve any tracks on the platform. And from there, the second step is once the tracks are approved and in the system to be searched, we take a look at the music as a whole to establish an overall quality rating for that piece of music. And so you'll see right here a 5-star quality rating. And so when it starts off, basically you'll just see a blank here. You'll see blank stars that will be populated within time when we get to your music critique. So what we're going to be looking at for the overall criteria of how we rate your music is a few different things here. So this is how you're going to want to prepare for your music library. So one of the things that you want to be kind of taking a look at in regards to your music is how well the music that you're creating actually matches the genre that you have picked for said piece of music. So that's very important when it comes to the search engine optimization and you choosing a genre, because we want to make for sure that the music is categorized in such a way that it makes it so our buyers can appropriately find your music accurately. So that's one thing that we're going to be looking at in regards to your overall music critique and review. A few other things here you can see is music form, mixing and mastering, where it's, once again, I kind of mentioned, the style of the music plus the audience that you are intending to capture with your music, as well as overall sample quality and making for sure the samples that you have utilized have been cleared for use. So if you look over here for the mixing and mastering criteria, these are the types of things that we're going to be looking at. One of the biggest things is just making for sure everything is mixed appropriately, we can hear things relatively clearly, and when it comes to the overall master, all the levels are in balance and the track is relatively pretty good to go. There's not a whole lot wrong with it. So one of the things that we're already getting is small waveform tracks, which is, a clear indication that someone might have a little bit of mixing skills, but they didn't understand how to appropriately master their music, or within their mixing, they might have mixed all of their stems too low, or possibly mixed their stems really high to the point where the overall loudness volume is too much. So that is one of the things that we're going to be looking at in regards to rating your music as well. So you want to make for sure that your mix and master is in check. The other thing that we're going to be taking a look at is composition. So once again, we're going to be taking a look at, the overall genre in which you've, chosen for your music. But most importantly, we want to make for sure that the music is of compositionally sound. So we'll be taking a look at music theory. We'll be taking a look at how your piece of music develops throughout the composition. We'll be taking a look at originality, arranging, overall orchestration, if you have a lot of different types of instruments in your music, as well as the overall sample quality. So one of the things, is a good talking point with the sample quality, and what we mean by sample quality is the type of samples and how realistic those samples are. So some samples, you might have electronic, sounding strings, and it might be done on purpose, or If you're going for an orchestral, if you're going for a really big orchestral sound and trying to make it realistic, you might be looking towards, Vienna Ensemble or orchestral tools, those types of sample libraries that develop these really nice sounding compositions. So that's another thing that we're going to be taking a look at. The other thing that we'll be looking at is the appropriateness for these few different areas. So we want to make for sure that we are, as a music library, making sure that our music is being tailored towards games, television, film and advertising, and being very specific about how each piece of music is developed for one of those areas. So as you're creating your piece of music, make for sure that you're keeping these areas in the back of your mind, and you might just pick one and say, hey, this piece of music is going to be designed specifically for games, and then you can label it as such on the platform. So what this is going to do for not only your overall rating, which boosts your rating, but it's also going to help you when it comes to a better purchase, or for the buyer to be more enticed to actually buy your music. So if you're in the right genre and you've pointed your music towards the style of video game music, and you've tried to create the composition based off of that, you're already in a 90 percentile in regards to just making for sure that you're leading people in the right direction. So that's part of the challenge as a composer. A lot of times we're creatives, but we don't necessarily know how to market our music, appropriately tag our music, those kind of things. So that'll be some of the other things that we take a look at, is how you guys are actually tagging your music. And so all of those things encompassing will be reflected upon and looked at, and will be giving you an overall star rating. So over the next several months, we're going to be elaborating on this system. So one of the things that we're going to include is actually have multiple different star ratings on each track, so you can actually see where you stand in multiple different areas. So for example, we're taking a look at appropriateness for games, television, film, and advertising. So we'd have a star rating specifically for that. We'd have a star rating based on your composition and how well your music is actually crafted, to the mixing and mastering, and to these other things that you see here. So we're going to be elaborating on this a little bit more, and eventually our goal is to make it so in your dashboard, which you'll see another tutorial about, but in the dashboard, we're hoping to make it so you guys will have an overall kind of status on how well you're doing with creating music on the library. So you can actually see where your weak points are. You can actually see where your high points are, and so basically what areas to kind of work on to improve your music, to improve the overall star rating. So over the next few months, we'll be developing that, but at the moment, basically, we just have it set up as one overall rating, music professional rating, with our lead musicologist, Ethan Lustig. He will be in charge of a team that is taking a look at these pieces of music and making for sure everything is in good shape and ready to go for the platform.